Welcome to my second episode of Jeannie Skiffington's Life Lessons. Tonight's lesson, about 15 minutes, will be called Take Charge to Create Your Own Luck. I hope that if you like what you hear, you'll be a subscriber to my YouTube channel, Jeannie Skiffington's Life Lessons. So let's talk about what we can do to help create our own luck. Number one, you want to take responsibility for what you can do. There's a lot you can't control, but you want to certainly factor in what you can control. Be passionate, create possibilities, and advance the action. So, those are the things we're going to look at today. Let's start with a reality check. The reality check is this: calm seas never created experienced sailors. And as we navigate through life for many, many years, we're probably not going to be dealing with calm seas all the time. And that's okay. We can take charge, get past it, and reinvent ourselves. I often used to wonder as a younger person, why is it some people reach heights that other people only dream of? And if you think about the Olympics, there's people at the Olympics getting gold and silver medals, and there's people in the Olympics in the audience. Well, the people who focused on being the athletes probably spent a lot of their time making sure they were good at what they did. It was an interesting story back in the 90s. There was a movie called Cool Runnings. It was about the Vancouver Winter Olympics at that time, and it was about a Jamaican bobsled team. These athletes didn't make it onto their track and field in Jamaica, so they ended up getting themselves a banged up bobsled with a has been coach and got themselves to the Winter Olympics and practiced like crazy. Of course, when they got there, the movie shows how they were minimized, and they ended up with a great performance. One of the lines that stands out for me in that particular movie is one of the athletes on the Jamaican bobsled team was saying, "I'm feeling very Olympic today." And I think if we're not the audience, I wish for you that you feel Olympic today. And hopefully that's what some of this segment will bring to you. One saying I learned many, many years ago, which I have found very helpful in my career, is this one: your job is not yours, but your work is. So your work, your reputation, and your integrity go with you no matter what job or what company you are affiliated with. So always remember that the job might be ripped out from under you, but your work, your reputation, and your integrity are never ripped out from under you. That's the winner you are. Absolutely. Live and work to make a difference. Uh, whether it's for your children, your grandchildren, always be a shining example so that people can reflect back and say, I learned that from that person. Be a victor over circumstances. One of the things that has surprised me in my professional life is how many people have lost their jobs in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. Good people who didn't deserve it. Happens all the time. I hate to see people suffer silently when something like that happens to them. A company may close, a company may downsize, and the bottom falls out of a career. Many of us will have to reinvent ourselves, but you certainly can do that and be a victor over your own circumstances. Houdini, many years ago, escaped many things that nobody thought he could escape. Today, we call it reinventing ourselves. And all of us will likely have to reinvent ourselves at one time or another. In the workplace, I always share with people to think bigger. Um, when doing a job in the workplace, there's two standards that I call. One is minimizing, and the other one is maximizing. Minimizing means that we work in a place and we identify our performance by who we're better than. Well, I'm better than those three. I don't do anything as bad as them. That's what I call minimizing. We're tracking ourselves from the bottom feeders rather than identifying ourselves with the very best there is. In my sales career, I never focused on being number one so much as I focused on being the best of the best. That was exciting. It was exhilarating. There was lots going on. It felt we were working hard, but there was lots of achievement, and people felt good about what they were doing. So, in the workplace professionally, put yourself with the best people and not the bottom feeders who are just going to work to pay the electric bill. Good attitudes contribute to good luck, that's for sure. In order for that to happen, we've got to get rid of some things that might take our attitude down. And I'm going to call this diseases that plague luck. So here's a few of them that I refer to. One is perfectionitis. If we think everything's going to be perfect, that's not going to happen. And we all know this. You try something the first time and it doesn't feel good. You try it a second time, it still probably doesn't feel good. But eventually you build a habit that makes it feel better and you start to master that. That's part of the learning process. And so perfectionitis can be a disease that plagues us from taking action. Another one is what I call analysis paralysis. We think about something to the point that we analyze it to paralysis and we take no action. So that's another one that's a disease to plague luck. Another one is loser's limp. Poor me, I never had a break. Nobody cares. I'm just not ever going to get anywhere. This doesn't work. The next one is what I call stinking thinking. Stinking thinking is everything stinks. Nothing's good, and that's really a negative, bad attitude that's going to certainly plague any good luck somebody might have. Another one is what I call burnout. Burnout can happen to good people who loved their jobs, but do the same job repeatedly over and over and over and over for years. Many people will change jobs, change companies, change careers. Believe it or not, as tough as that is, that sort of rejuvenates us because all of a sudden there's new excitement. We've let go of old problems. People who work the same place all the time don't have that ability, and they can burn out. They can show up one day and say, I used to love it, now I hate it. So that's a disease that can plague luck as well. And we have to take charge to put some excitement back in a job that we do. Professional people, doctors, they do the same thing every day. And sure, they can deal with burnout, no question. Become an opportunist. So I'm going to ask you, are you an accidental success or are you an on-purpose success? I'll give you a tiny example to think about. Here's an accidental success. You're walking down the street, you see $10 on the sidewalk, you pick up the $10, you tell a couple people at work, you spend it at lunch, it's over. It was fun. You made $10 that you didn't deserve, okay? You're an accidental success. If you're an on-purpose success, you find the $10 on the sidewalk, you walk by the bank, and you think to yourself, you know what? I'm going to put this $10 in a savings account, and I'm going to leave it there for 20 years. And in 20 years, I'm going to see how much that became. Sure enough, you see a bank statement that says $10.12, $11.50, $13.62, etc. In 20 years, you get to say, look what that became, only because I did something that took this up a flagpole. That, my friends, is an on-purpose success. You take an opportunity that was given to you and you take it up a flagpole. Very exciting. And that's what I call becoming an opportunist. Better your best. That's another thing that prevents us from getting burnt out in jobs. When we find new ways to be excited about something. There's a word the Japanese have used called kaizen. K-A-I-Z-E-N. It is the theory of continuous improvement. It means that no matter how good something is, you're always working to make it better. And that's exciting. If you're good at a job, you've done it a long time, it's easy to fall into same old, same old, same old. Then the boring starts to creep in. So even though we're doing a job all the time and we're good at it and things are going well, always be open to finding new ways, new things, stay up to date, keep up to date, etc. Kaizen, the principle of continuous improvement. I love it. I find it exciting. I'll give you an example. If 99.9% is good enough, then here are some things we have to accept. 2 million documents will be lost by the IRS this year. I don't think any of us would be takers on that one. 12 babies will be given to the wrong parents each day. The day you have it, you want that one. Maybe you want to give it back later, but nobody wants the wrong child. 18,322 pieces of mail will be mishandled in the next hour. 2 plane landings at O'Hare will be unsafe. 291 pacemaker operations will be performed incorrectly this year, if 99.9% is enough. All of us play a vital role in making this world a better place. Never underestimate the importance of your job, no matter how entry level or whatever it is. You play a part in being the best you can possibly be, and that will protect enthusiasm. It is exhilarating. Here's some statistics from a USA Today news article many years ago, and it shows what it's like when we have to try to get people to buckle up in the car. So here you have millions of people, and you're the one in charge of getting them to buckle up. So over the course of about 8 years, here's some statistics. 1994, 58% of the world buckled up. In 1996, 61% of the world buckled up. In 1980, 98, 70% of the world buckled up. In 2000, 71% buckled up. In 2002, 75% buckled up. So over the course of 8 years, there was an improvement of about 17%. We can't stop there. Lives are at stake. So someone has to put their thinking cap on and make this work. That's what Kaizen is. We don't give up. We find another angle, another way to get more people on board for something as important as buckling up. Be passionate to advance the action. It's exciting when you figure something out that nobody else figured out. Turn your wishes into goals, and we'll talk about that here briefly. Two kinds of goals. One, short-term goals. Short-term goals are what you do to get by day to day. Long-term goals are what you do to get ahead. And there's a difference. So however much time we spend, we've got to spend time on long-term goals, what we do to get ahead. How do we take wishes and turn them into goals? Well, we all have wishes floating around in our head. It's like a merry-go-round. We get comfort from it. It's exciting. It's fun. And every so often, long-term goal, we've got to pull one down and say, I got to make that happen. Here's 5 steps to see where you get stuck making goals happen. Number 1, ask this question. Is it possible? Yes or no? If it's no, put it back on the merry-go-round and entertain yourself with it. If it's a yes, step 2 is when. Step 3 is do your research, find out what you need in order to implement. Number 4 is a step-by-step plan, whether it's 3 steps, 25 steps, or more. And step number 5 is put it on the calendar with a timeline. Pick a date, make it happen. Turn your wishes into goals and be aware of what's floating around as a wish, which you can pick from any time, and what you want to implement as a goal. Everyone has a treasure chest of potential. Never underestimate the God-given talent you have. We've all heard that you have more talent than you will ever be able to use, more potential. Think of it as this gorgeous treasure chest. Every so often, go in, open the cover, take a look what's in there. You're capable of figuring things out. Maybe you need help, maybe you need mentors, maybe you need research, maybe you need to talk to people. That you can make happen. In conclusion, I just want to share with you, always remember that in order to get from here to a better place, there are going to be obstacles. There are not going to be calm seas. But remember this, success is succeeding with conditions as you find them, not waiting for a better year. I hope you've enjoyed these 15 minutes. There's a lot more where this comes from. If you've enjoyed this, I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeannie Skiffington's Life Lessons. Thank you for listening.